So the another point is rights of partners. Fine. Sometimes the question of 1 mark can come over this. Then what are the rights of partners? Mention one right. Which right is visible in this statement, etc. That can be any kind of form of the question. All right. So let's talk about this rights of partner. See, I have not written the all rights in detail, okay, because it is a kind of problem student face to remember all the rights all together. That's why I have made a simple kind of code over here, that is PCR is nil. Right now you see that for corona that PCR test is being conducted, so you consider that PCR is nil. All right. So P stands for participate. So every partner has a right to participate in the management of the business. So, okay, so if you really want to manage the kind of activities of a business, so every partner has a right. It cannot be like that these 4 partners are there and these 3 have decided that we will be running the management, you will not be. That has to be there with the consent of this. All right. If D says that I also want to manage the things, I want to participate, then they all have to agree. All right. He has this right. If he is not exercising it, that is another aspect. If he is agreeing on some certain condition with other partners, that is another aspect. Okay, that is his wish. Okay, but he has right to participate in the management and nobody can deny it. He can go to court even for that. Okay, now the next point is to be consulted. Every partner has a genuine right to be consulted in the matter of business affairs. Okay, if any decision is to be taken, it cannot be possible that without telling D, these all 3 have taken a certain kind of decision. If it happens, then D can deny that. He can say that you did not take my consent for that. He has a right to know. Okay, he has a right to be consulted. They all have to get his consent, only that the decision will be taken. All right, so he has a right to be consulted. Now another, every partner has a right to retire from firm after giving a proper notice. It's not like that from tomorrow I'm not coming. Okay, if they have mentioned in their partnership deed that if anybody is willing to retire from the business, they have to give 1 month notice. Okay, so he has to follow that. Say for example, B wants to retire from business, then in that case B has to give 1 month notice and mention the reasoning, and then he can retire. He has a right, nobody can deny. All right, they cannot say that company, sorry, our firm is facing that kind of losses, huge losses, and you're retiring at that point of time. On the ground of humanity and genuinity they can say, but they cannot stop him. Understood? Now inspect. Every partner has right to inspect the books of account at any time, and he can have the copy of that as well. All right, nobody can stop it, because if it starts happening, then maybe possible that some other partner are misappropriating. So that should be there in the notice of all partners, and all the books of account are reachable and are can all the records are eligible to be inspected by the partners, and they can have copy of that as well. All right, now another right to share in profit. Okay, every partner has right to share in profit as per the agreed ratio which is there in the partnership deed. Okay, nobody can deny that. Okay, they cannot say that this time B did not work hard, so all we 3 should be sharing the profit, he should not be given. No, they cannot say that. Fine. Another, every partner has a genuine right not to allow admission of new partner. Okay, we took example here, these 4. Then another partner new comes E. So that has to be with the consent of these 4. If any of them denies, then he cannot enter. All right, and they have genuine right to deny that. Why? Because if any other partner joins the partnership, then what happens? Their share of profit will reduce. Okay, so they have very genuine right to disallow any new partner. If it is there in the welfare of the firm or in the interest of the firm, only then they all give consent and then they admit a new partner. If any of them is denying, then he has a right to deny, nobody can force him. Okay, now another right is to be indemnified. understand it very specifically. Sometimes what happen in case of emergency, partner may have to incur few expenses from his own property, private property, personal property, or from his own pocket. Okay, so as these expenditure are there in the welfare of the business, these are there in the interest of the business, then he has a right to be indemnified because he is also the owner. All right. Okay, so in that kind of emergency he took that, I just mentioned that in case of emergency. All right, it's not like that on the pretext of the emergency he is taking undue advantage of the tax, should not be there. That is a kind of sensibility they need to understand. So if he spends anything from his own pocket in case of emergency on the behalf of firm, then he has to be indemnified, means he has to be repaid for that. Okay, now in case of loan, if any partner provides loan to firm, and if the agreed rate of interest on loan is already mentioned in the partnership deed, then he has right to get interest according to that one point. And if in partnership deed, say for example, no such point is mentioned, then the provision of Indian Partnership Act 1932 will be applicable here. Even then he will be having interest on loan provided by him, that is at the rate of 6% per annum. Alright, so he has a right to get interest on loan provided by him to firm. So these all 8 rights are there, which can be easily remembered by one code, that is PCR is nil. Okay, now let's move on. So the another topic is liabilities of partners. Alright, there are 2 points in this. Let's understand that very minutely. Let's consider the same example. There are 4 partners A, B, C, D, and they have their organization name like ABCD Associate. Okay, and that deals in confectionery business. Alright, now what happens? A separately starts one more confectionery and starts earning profit out of it. Now this another confectionery started by A is there in the direct competition with the partnership firm being run by all 4. Now this is completely unethical and not acceptable by business law. That is why whatever amount of profit A is earning from this another confectionery, it has to be shared by all 4 partners. Understood the point? So what is the liability of partner in that case? That if a partner is engaged in the same nature of business as it is there in the partnership firm, and if he is earning some profit in that case, then he'll have to share that amount of profit with other partners also. Alright, but remember here, if he incurs loss here, then it will not be shared by them. Understood? Only in case of profit that point is applicable, not in case of loss. Okay, now let's understand the another point. Another point is what? Okay, let's take this example further. If A uses property of ABCD Associates, okay, and earn profit, right? Now A is using property and earning profit and keeping that profit in his pocket. That cannot be possible. He'll have to share this profit with all the 4. Alright. So the another point is what? Another liability of partner is what? If any partner using the resources or property of partnership firm earning some amount of profit, then he has to share that amount of profit with all the partners. So there are 2 liabilities of partners, okay, that you will have to keep in your mind. Now let's move on to last concept of this session. So the last topic of this session is provision of Indian Partnership Act 1932 applicable in the absence of partnership deed. Alright, like I told you that there are 2 cases regarding that. One, the partners have oral agreement. Another, partners have partnership deed, but certain point is not mentioned in the deed. So in that case, what happens? Who will do the judgment? Okay, now let's take one example. Let's consider the point of the salary of the partners. Now there are 2 partners A and B, and they did oral agreement. fine, they decided about their profit and losses, that 50% profit and losses will be shared, but they did not discuss about the salary. Now B has worked hard really in the organization and he demands salary, that I have given these many hours every day in the organization, I must get some salary. But A says that orally we decided that and there was no kind of terms and condition discussed about it. Then B says no, it has to be there, you have forgotten, I kept that point, you accepted. So they have dispute over this, but they do not have any kind of proof to show that who is telling a lie or who is speaking truth and what should be fair and what should be done, right? So in that case they both will have to go to court. Okay, then the court very first will ask that do you have any kind of partnership deed. They will say no, we do not have any deed. So but A says that he said that and B says that he said that, he promised that. Court will not believe anyone whether you are true or you are false. Understood? Court will say that you do not have deed. Now all the provisions of Partnership Act 1932 will be applicable, and there are 5 provisions which are applicable in that case. So I just write down here. The very first point is no remuneration. So B is not going to get anything on the basis of salary. Alright. However, it seems completely unfair. He did labor, but it was not agreed. Alright. So when it is not agreed, because if it was agreed, the deed has to be there. That's why it is suggested that deed should be there. Alright. If deed is not there, then the Partnership Act principle will be applicable. Okay. So one rule is that no remuneration. Another, no interest on capital. Third, no interest on drawings. So interest on capital as well. If B starts on demanding about interest on capital as well, that we discuss about it, and A says no, we did not discuss, they do not have deed. So in that case also the same judgment will be there, no interest on capital will be paid because it has not been agreed, you do not have deed. Okay, now no interest on drawing as well. Firm will not charge any kind of interest on drawing if you have withdrawn some amount of money because it has not been agreed. Okay, you do not have deed about it. Now interest on loan provided by partner to firm. Now if you do not have any kind of deed and there is no kind of discussion, then if say for example A has provided loan to firm, now in that case A is demanding interest on loan and that is fair. Okay, so at what rate it should be given? If you do not have deed, then it should be given at the rate of 6% per annum. Understood? The last point is maybe possible they both are having dispute over this, that we decided about 60 and 40%. B is believing that you will bear 60%, I will bear 40% because we are incurring loss here. Okay, so if that kind of situation arises, and the situation is also arising only when you do not have partnership deed, in that case what the court will give the judgment, profit and loss to be shared equally. Alright, whether you are incurring loss or you are earning profit, it has to be shared equally. If you are 2 partners, then 50-50%. If you are 4 partners, then 25% each. Alright, it has to be equal. Okay, so these points are applicable in the case when you do not have any partnership deed, and these are also applicable in the case when you have not mentioned anything about these in your partnership deed. Means you have partnership deed, but in your partnership deed there is no discussion, there is no mentioning about these points. You have partnership deed, you have described the details, everything, other terms and conditions, but you have not described the ratio, then this will be applicable. You have described everything, but you have not described that at what rate the interest will be paid on the loan provided by a partner to firm. So 6% will be paid. Okay, and similarly you have not mentioned anything regarding that, you have not mentioned about this, then in that case also it is applicable. So I would like to remind you one more time, these 5 provisions are applicable in 2 cases. One case when you do not have partnership deed at all, obviously all these will be applicable, and another point when you have partnership deed but in your deed nothing is mentioned about these. Okay, so when nothing is mentioned, then what is going to happen? The same is going to happen. Okay. All right then. This is all for today. See you in the other video.